Yo dudes, what's up? This is PlanetKeef. Yeah, really. And I'm going to do something unexpected, possibly. I'm going to do a software tutorial. Actually, probably a mini-series, 3 or 4 tutorials on one particular bit of software that I'm spending most of my life using these days, which is video editing and color grading software made by Blackmagic Design and called DaVinci Resolve 12.5. And I promise we're not going to be doing lots and lots of different software tutorials unless you beg me to do them. But I'm doing this one because it's one that I desperately wanted 6 months ago when I started using DaVinci Resolve. It's the absolute beginner's tutorial made by an absolute beginner. Well, I'm not now. I've been using it for 6 months. But all the tutorials that you find on the internet are made by expert users. They are professional editors. They know this thing inside out. They know the techniques, the philosophies, the whole thing about video editing. And guess what? I don't. However, that's not stopping me because I don't want to be a professional video editor, for God's sake. I want to have some fun in my life. So I got into this about 6 months ago. I'd been using Apple iMovie, which is, basically free, and it's very basic for beginners and, novices and people who just really aren't that interested in video editing. And that is absolutely fine. Except, I keep wanting to do things that iMovie just really couldn't do, because Apple, obviously, they also have Final Cut Pro, which you have to pay for, and they don't want iMovie to compete directly with that, because obvious commercial reasons. So I was banging my head against the limitations of iMovie, and one of my followers, Mr. Krasker, thank you, said, "Have you tried DaVinci Resolve 12.5? I said, no, I've never heard of it. And I hadn't, because it lives in the domain of the professionals, and it costs a lot of money, except version 12.5, it's currently on 14, which you do have to pay for, but 12.5 is completely free, and it's very close to being unlimited in, it's not time restricted, there's no restriction on the size of files you can make. It's not a trial version, it's a full version. There's a very few things that don't work in the free version, but it's not killing me. So I'm really happy with 12.5, especially because it's free. But because it is a professional product, it's a very steep learning curve. It really, for me, coming from iMovie, I thought I knew a few things about video editing, and I did, but there is so much you can do with Resolve. It's used by professionals. It started out as purely color grading software, which it does superbly well, and in recent versions they've added a full NLE nonlinear editor, and it's magnificent. I love it. I absolutely love this software because it looks great and it can do anything that any other competing software can do, and possibly better. What's not to like apart from the learning curve? So that's enough waffling. Let's get started. So it's divided into 4 main sections which correspond to the approximate workflow of building a project. So that's the media page, the edit page, the color page, and the deliver page. And you won't always strictly follow that. You will spend a lot of time moving back and forth between edit and color, but approximately that's how it goes. So we'll start off having a look at the overall interface and the media page. Okay, so we'll start off by firing up DaVinci Resolve, the sort of, what colour is that? Magenta with 3 petals in it. Slow machine, come on. Okay, so you get this. This is the Resolve homepage, and these are all my previous projects that I've done with it. Quite a lot, really. Incredible. Okay, untitled project. No, new project down here. DaVinci tutorial. Create. Okay, and open. So this is the media page, and we'll just have a look at the things down here. That just tells you, that doesn't do anything, it just tells you what the software is. Media, these are your pages: media, edit, color, deliver. Home will take you back to the previous screen where you select different projects or create a new one, and the cog is preferences. This is worth looking at because you have control over a massive amount of things, most of which I've never needed to touch, but there was something the other day. Yeah, in editing, standard still duration is set by default as 5 seconds, and I would like that to be 4 seconds, so we'll just save that as 4 seconds. It's a small thing, but there you go. The entire interface is massively configurable. You can easily lose yourself. You start messing about with stuff and you don't know how to get back to it. So a thing that you need to know right from the start that will save you lots of time and worry is workspace, layout, reset, UI layout, user interface layout, and that will just make it go back to the default layout where pretty much everything is visible. And also in that workspace layout, you'll see dual screen or full screen or reset. Dual screen, I mentioned I'm going to get a PC. I'm also going to get 2 monitors, so it will just, you know, this will be like magic. But that's not available because we've only got 1 screen. So as you might guess from the name of it, media page, this is where you find and import the media for your project. And immediately I came across a problem when I started using this, because I keep all of my media files, my video files, on this external hard drive, which is not on that list. It only shows my fixed hard disk. So what you need to do on the Mac, I don't know how it is on Windows, is click on there, DaVinci Resolve, and Preferences. This is different from the preferences down there. And you can add a drive. So MacBack2 is one of the partitions on there, so we'll add that. Or you can just check this box, automatically display attached local and network storage locations. I'm guessing they've not shown everything by default because in a professional environment you would be on a huge network with loads and loads of drives, and so you need to be selective about which ones you're showing, but you could just check that and save it, and there it is. In fact, so it now shows Mac back, and it shows that partition MacBack2, which is where all the good stuff is. Now in this window you have the folders on that location, on that drive, and they can be displayed as icons or as a list. So I think we'll use roasted cauliflower for our example files. And there's all the files, but you can't really see what's going on. So if you drag that slider, you can make them bigger. Now, because I use 2 cameras, it's important to separate the two for organization reasons. So I'll just turn that into a list, and you can see that the names, the file names, are a different series. So the ones that are like 74 something something are the overview ones from a distant camera, and the ones that are 81 something are the detail ones generally. So what I need to do is keep those separate. So I'm going to, in this area here, I can create bins. So I right click and add bin, and I'll give that a name. I'll call that overview. and I'll drag all of the 7 series files into there. And you always get this, the clips have a different frame rate than the current project settings. I don't know, so change. I've never done anything different. And then we want another bin, which we will call detail. And we'll put all the 8 series files in there. And then I'm going to make a third bin, which I'm going to call assets, because for every video that I make I have like the intro, title, the end screen, and some sound effects in between and things like that, and I have those all in this favorites folder called assets. That one, that's the intro, the end, and I always have this audio file that plays at the end. Sometimes I have rooster crowing, and sometimes I have number 4 MP3, which is a crowd cheering. Now, another way you can organise your files, if you've been doing a long shoot that's gone over several days, is to have different bins for different days as well. Or don't organise them at all. If you're just doing, you know, single camera, short shoot, you don't need to use separate bins for your files, but this just makes things a lot easier to find. So that's more or less all you need to know about the media page to get you started. In the next episode we'll be looking at the edit page. If you like this video, give it a like, and if you haven't subscribed to PlanetKeef, please do so. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.